elements in the XML are represented in the form of root element node. Root element node. These are the three terms what we are going to use. Now, every XML file will start with question mark XML and version. Version 1.0 is the first version and last version. If you want to give encoding, so this is the by default syntax what we are going to get. Any XML file you take, by default we are going to get question mark XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8. Every XML will start with this line. Every XML file will start with this line. XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8. Then in the XML, everything is represented in the form of elements, node. Everything is a node. Everything is a node. In XML, everything is a node. Now, some of the nodes become a root, some of the node becomes a chain. Some of the node becomes a text nodes, values. So, everything is a node. In that node, some of the nodes become a root element, some of the nodes become a chain element, some of the nodes become a values. So, in the XML, everything is represented as a node. Now, if you look at this example, now we have a node. Course is a node, name is a node, faculty is a node, fee is a node, location is a node. All these are what? Nodes. That's very cool. So, in this, what is the root element? Root node is, course is a root node, name, faculty, fee, location are the chain nodes. That's what I told. The first line in the XML declaration will be given as XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8. The next, root element. The root element. What is the root element here? Course. What are the chain elements? Name, faculty, fee, location. Right. Now, every element in the XML should have corresponding closing node. If I open a node, it should have corresponding closing node. And it is a case sensitive. Now, you are using a Visual Force page. Is the Visual Force page is in the form of XML? The complete Visual Force is in the form of XML only. Right? What is this? It is an element. Open the element, close the element. Open the element, close the element. Open the element, close the element. So everything is what? In the XML format only. Every opening element will have corresponding closing element. And it is a case sensitive. I give capital F, I give small f. So what is that given? Boss, mismatching. Every opening node should have a closing node. You have opened with the form F capital, but you are closing with small f. So it is giving what? Error message for you. So every opening node should have the equivalent corresponding closing node, and it is a case sensitive. I open here. Page block. I open the page block. Now what happened? Every opening has a closing. Form open, form closed. Page block open, page block closed. But what is the problem here? Unordered closing. They are not ordered properly. So when you say page form, inner element should be closed first, followed by outer element. Inner element should be closed first, followed by outer element. Who is your inner element? Inner element should be closed first, followed by outer element. So every node should have the corresponding closing node. It is a case sensitive, and they should be ordered properly. Inner element should be closed first, followed by outer element. That's what I mentioned in the documentation. Root, child, subchain. Then, if you are looking at the node, now we got here. Look at the point. Here, we have Visual Force page. FX page is a node. Form is a node. Just like is an XML only. Pure XML only. Your Visual Force syntax is a complete pure XML. In the XML, what I am giving, sometimes I am giving show header equal to So what is this? Attribute. What is that? Attribute. Attribute of the node. We have a node called fx page. It has an attribute called show header. Page block. It has an attribute. Title. Example. Tab style. Account. Subtitle. So what all these are? All these are what? Properties of element. Properties of that element. All these are what? We have a node called fx page block. For that node, we have a properties like title, tab style, help title, help URL. All these are what? Attributes of the node called fx page block. Attributes of the element called fx page block. The same thing I mentioned here. So what was this? Book, category, cookie. Title, language, English. Are you getting my point here? So what are these? Language? Attribute. What is category? Attribute. What is category? Attribute of the element. What is language? Attribute. That's what is given in the graph. Root element is bookstore. Element name is book. Book has a attribute called category. Under the book, what are the chain elements we have? Title, author, year, price. Right, ma? If you understand the Visual Force structure, the same thing we are doing in XML. There is nothing new. The Visual Force properties what we are using, same properties are applied on the your XML. No, XML properties, same properties are applied on VF. If you follow the Visual Force syntax, the same thing is applied on XML. Now look at the point. So once you have created this message, M capital, small capital, is it accepted? Is a case sensitive? Equivalent. I told you, form F capital, F small. So it has given what? Error message. Now, every XML element should be nested properly. What do you mean by nested properly? Inner element should be closed first, followed by outer element. So B followed by I. So what did I give? BI, BI is another. I should be closed first, followed by B. Done. Got an idea? Basic syntax is clear? Basic syntax is clear? Okay. Now, how to use this XML in the Salesforce? How do you use this XML in the Salesforce? In the Salesforce, we have two predefined classes. What are the two predefined classes we have? Document class and XML node. There are two classes what we are using in the Salesforce. There are two classes which we are using in the Salesforce. One is document class, other one is XML. Where are these two classes defined? JSON class, JSON generator, JSON parser, all the three are defined in the namespace of system. System.json, system.json generator, system.json parser. Am I right? JSON class, JSON parser, JSON generator, all these three classes are defined in the namespace called system. Similarly, under the namespace of DOM, what is the namespace? DOM. DOM is the namespace. Under the namespace of DOM, we have two predefined classes. What are they? Document and XML node. We have document and we have XML node. So these are the two predefined classes what are defined in the DOM namespace. Now, using these two classes, we need to generate the XML string or parse the XML string. So let us understand how to generate and how to parse. How to generate or how to parse. Look at the point. Look at the point. Everyone, what are the two classes we have? What are the two classes we have? DOM document, DOM XML. Listen carefully, boss. Then how you create DOM dot document work equal to first I create DOM dot document Once I created a document, we need to create a root element. How do you create a root element? How do you create a root element? Look at the format. If you want to create a root element, there are three parameters what we require. Name of the element, namespace, prefix. Dot, create a root element. I'm giving a namespace. I'm giving, understand where we are going to use. These namespaces are going to be used in the visual files. We are going to have a lot of importance for this namespace in the visual files. Prefix. Prefix I say SM. What did I do? Document, for the document I created a root element. In the root element, three elements are there. Name of the root element, namespace and a prefix. Namespace and prefix. Now, whatever the DOM document is there that I want to convert into string. JSON if you want to convert. JSON if you want to convert. JSON if you want to convert, what did you get? Get as string. Get as string. Similarly, XML if you want to convert. Doc to XML. Doc to XML string. Doc to XML string. Now, so we have converted. Look at the point, XML string to dot to XML string. So we are converting that XML to string. We are converting that XML to string. So how do you give the output here? Controller equal to. XML string, have a preview. So how did you receive? XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8, then CLK respond. This is XML NS. XML NS means XML namespace. What is the namespace we got? Capital. Right. Then SM. Now if we say capital, every time I cannot use a capital namespace. The namespace may be lengthy. For that purpose, we are giving a shortcut notation for the namespace. What is that? SM. I am referring the namespace as SM. So I am referring, instead of giving the long lengthy name of namespace, I am giving a shortcut name for namespace. What is that? SM. So I am giving SM colon name. In the namespace capital, we have a variable called name. Why namespace? Why namespace? Let us say, now we have a group of people. We have online people, we have classroom people. So in these people, I want to say Ravi. In this group, I want to say Ravi. Ravi is there in the online, Ravi is there in the classroom. Now when I say Ravi, what happened? Both of them will respond. Both of them will respond. But whom I am calling? I want to call Ravi in the classroom. When I want to call Ravi in the classroom, but when I say Ravi, the classroom Ravi will respond, online Ravi will respond. But now, I want to speak to Ravi. How do you identify? That's what I'm saying. Classroom student Ravi. So what is that? You uniquely identify the people. When there is a conflict, look at the point. One more example I'm going to give. I have two classes boss. I have employee class. In employee class, I have name, salary, get details. Similarly, I have product class. Your name, right. This is one class, this is one class. If I say get details, which one you are calling? When you say get details, which method you are calling? Are you calling a get details from employee or are you calling a get details from product info? Now the system cannot understand. The system cannot understand which method you are calling. That's why they are asking, boss, create an object for the class. create an object for the class and call e.getDetails. Now which getDetails I am calling? From employee class I am calling. So what is that? To uniquely identify, to remove the conflict. Obviously when you are giving a names, there will be conflict names. So to avoid these conflicts, we are giving a namespace. What? Namespace. Employee namespace, name. Employee dot name. In the namespace of employee, we have a name. We are using a messaging. Messaging dot inbound email message. What is that messaging? Namespace. We already have document. Now let me take a quick example. Otherwise, we have a DOM, right? In the DOM, what we have? Document, right? But already we have a standard object called document. For every S object, there is a equivalent effects class. For every S object, there is a equivalent effects class. Now when I say document, which document you are calling? This document or this document? This is a problem. To avoid this problem, what are you doing? You create a namespace called DOM. DOM.document, that means XML document file you are referring. When I use only document, it is a S object document. Now there is a conflict. There is a conflict. According to you, document means what? Is it an XML document or you are referring to a S object document? There is a conflict. To avoid this, they give namespace called DOM. When now we say DOM.document, it is a document class from DOM namespace. So what is the purpose of this namespace? To remove the conflict. What is the purpose of this namespace? To remove the conflict. If you want to remove the conflict, people are using the namespace. Similarly, in XML, I am giving a file like this. Look at the point. I have an XML file. I have a file 1. Right. So we have employee, we have student, there are two different files. One XML file is student, another XML file is employee. There are two different files. But both these files I am using in a, this is one XML, this is one XML. Both these files I am using in one program. When I say name, whose name? When I say name, whose name? Is a name from a student or an employee? Both the files I am using in the same program. When I am using both the files in the same XML, then when I say name, whose name? Is it employee name or a first name? To remove this conflict, what they are giving? Namespace. They are giving what? Namespace. So if I give a namespace, lengthy namespace are there. Now, if you remember the plugin program, do you remember the plugin program? Process.plugin describe result dot. Do you remember the plugin program? In the plugin program, what is the namespace we had? Process dot plugin describe result. Now, if I want to use this namespace, for every element, then what happens? Length of the program becomes more. So to avoid this, what I am giving? I am giving PDF. So it's a shortcut name to represent the namespace. Right, boss? So prefix, namespace. So it is your choice whether you want to give a namespace and prefix or not. It's your choice. But without namespace, no prefix. Without namespace, no prefix. If you want to give the namespace, in case, if you feel that there may be a conflict, then I can use this namespace. Otherwise, you can simply leave it. Are you clear about this point? So first, what should I do? I have to create a root element. How did I create a root element? Dot create a root element. Now, change element should be created for whom? Chain should be created for which element? Root element. So whatever the root element you created, that root element I am referring with the DOM dot whatever the root element you created, that I am referring with a variable called rev. For this root element, what you want to do? You want to create a chain element. How do you create a chain element? Root dot add chain element, last name. What I'm doing was, we got a root element. For the root element, we are adding a chain element called last name. For the same root element, I'm adding add so what is the namespace I'm giving? Prefix I'm giving as first to create a root element. For the root element, create a chain element. So what are you getting here? Last name. Then for this, what do you want to do? You want to add a value. How do you add a value? Add a text node. So once you create this, I want to add the value. How do you add the value? Create a root element. I want to get the value. How do you add the value? Add text node. I told every element is a node in that root element, chain element, and text node. So what I want to do? I want to add a value. How do you add the value? How do you add the value? How do you add the value? For which element you want to add the value? You should know the element. For the first name element, I want to add the value. So how do you recognize the first name? So whenever we create an element, DOM dot XML node, this is the name of the first node. DOM dot XML node. So if you want to add the value, I would give first dot add I want to add last dot we have created. Go back to this. Look at the format. Last name. First name. I think I give vice versa. Right. Let me create from the beginning. People have followed this. Let me create from the beginning. How to create it from the beginning? First, what should I do? Create an object for document. How do you create an object for document? DOM dot equal to DOM dot document. Once you created a document, I have to create a root element. How do you refer to the root element? DOM dot XML. What is the purpose of this? This is to refer to the root element what you created. How to create an element? DOM dot create root element. The root element now I am referring was name of the element. Name of the element. Let us say name of the element. Namespace. This is the element. For the root element, how to add the chain elements? For the root, I want to add name of the institute, place, and phone number. So I want to add 3 chain elements. How do you add the chain elements? DOM XML node. How do you create an element? For which element you are creating a chain? Root dot add chain element name. What is the name of the institute you want to add? So element. What is the element name? Name dot add text node. Then one more chain I want to create. For which one I want to create one more chain? For the root element. So DOM dot XML node. Place. Root dot add Then how do you get the value? Place dot add. So I want to add phone number. So how do you refer? Dom dot XML node. How do you create? Root dot add element. Phone dot add. Then I want to convert this element into string. How do you convert it to string? XML string. Then dot to XML. Convert the given value into the XML string. Are you clear with this? Created a document object, root element. Then for the root I have created a child element. For the child element I have added a value. Then go for the preview of this. Go here. Insert name, place, and phone. Are you clear about this? If you want to set the attribute, we can also set the attribute. How to set the attribute? For the element you want to set the attribute. Go here. Place dot set. Set the attribute. Name of the attribute. Set attribute. We are giving attribute. Attribute is nothing but a property. So what we got here? Place city equal to setting the attribute. If you want to get the attribute, root element dot get the attribute. Setting the attribute, getting the attribute. People are clear with this? Clear with this? Clear for everyone? So create a root element. For the root, add a child element. For the child element, add the. So the layers is up to your choice. Up to how many layers you want to create is up to your choice. Suppose you want to deserialize. You want to deserialize. People have followed this example. Am I clear with this? Right. Now let us go for a deserialization. What is a deserialization? If somebody give you XML file, how to break it and get the data. If somebody give you XML file, how to break it and get the data. So if you want to break the data, we have a method. What is the name of the method? Look at the method. Get a root element. Get a root element. If you got the root element, if you know the root element, what we can do? Once you know the root element, I can use get the element. If you know the root element, get the chain. Once you got the chain, get the label of the chain. Get the value of the chain. That's what we are going to use. Get the root element. We are going to get the root element. Once you got the root element, we can find the chain. Once you got the chain elements, we can know the name of every element. Once you know the name of every element, then we can get the value of the element. Then we can get the value of the element. Let me show one quick example. Let me give you one example here. So understand this example. Right. So we got some input I am taking. From input screen I am taking. Let us say I am taking a screen like this. Here I am going to enter some XML string. Then I am going to click on convert. Then I am going to give some value. This is my string. If I click on this string and click on convert, Only the data has to be parsed. Take the XML string and parse the data, get the result. Get the result. Right. So this is the string what I am going to give. Whatever the string you have entered, based on the string what I have given, XML string what I have given, I want to convert back into original format. So I am going to give you XML string which I am going to convert back into original format. This is called as what? Deserialization. If XML string is given, how to convert back into object is deserialization. So look at this example, everyone. So this is the XML string what you are entering. Then I'm going to give a result. Public void convert. So we are giving DOM dot. Then I'm giving new dot load. Whatever the string you want to convert, load. Whatever the string you want to convert, the string I'm giving it. XML. Whatever the string you want to convert, the string I have given. So once you have given this, how to get the root element? DOM dot XML node root equal to doc dot get whatever the XML document we got from the XML document, get the root element. Once you got the root element, I can find out whether it has a child element or not. So how do you find out whether it has child element? Is it one element or a group of element? Child may be 1 or 2 or 3, I am not sure. When you are not sure about the number of elements, what we use? List. So I am going to use list of child is equal to root dot get all the child elements of given root. First in the document, find out the root element and give the list of child elements. Once you got the child elements, how do you refer one by one? It's a loop, right? It's a group of elements. How do you refer? It's a loop. One by one child element you take. Once you take one by one child element, then get every child element name, get every child element value. Get every child element name, get every child element value. So you can create like a map or you can create like a text. It's your choice. So here I want to take result equal to result plus slash. What I'm doing, d dot get name. When I say get name, get the name of the element. Get the name of the element plus d dot get the value of the element. So understand this point. Get name, name of the element. Get text, value of the element. Get name, name of the element. Get text, value of the element. So for these, any difficulty at this level? Right? We got a root element, child elements of the root. One by one child element I have taken, and I am getting the name of the element, getting the text of the element. Any query for anyone? Anyone has any query on that? Clear? Clear for everyone? Now, let us go to the next. Input text. I can go with a tab panel group. we take fx text. Rows equal to 10. Value equal to then fx when you click on the button, we are going to get it converted. Then we have the third one. Kernel grid. Let me take a grid here. Let me get the view. So I'm giving some XML file. So I'm giving a string dynamically. So I have given this. Click on convert. What is the problem here? Failed parts because of phone. What is that phone? Not given. So then we got here the data. From the XML, whatever the data I gave, I got name of the element, value of the element. Name of the element, value of the element. Are you clear about this? Are you clear about this? So what I'm doing, I took the XML document, whatever the XML document you gave, I took this XML document, upload it to what? DOM.document. Upload the XML string, then take the root element. For the root element, what all the child elements are there? Get all the child elements, take one by one element and convert it. Did you get my point? Take the root element, get the child elements, then every child element a name and a value. Name and value. Get text, get name. Are you clear about this? People are clear? Suppose if you are entering any XML file, instead of giving the data like this, if somebody uploads the XML file, ask you to create a records in the Salesforce. Now somebody has a data in the XML format. Let us say I have eBay. eBay is giving a list of records that eBay is giving in the form of XML file. Boss, as per my organization, I am storing the data in the form of XML. I have a website. In the website, generally the data will be represented in XML. So the data is represented in the XML. They are giving the XML file directly. If they give XML file, how to parse it and load it? Right, boss? Now, let me give how to work with the XML file. So if it is XML file, I need to convert the file in the form of string. If it is XML file, always the files will be in which format, boss? Body of the file will be always in which format? Body of the file will be always in which format? Blob. Blob. Tell me one example where we use this blob. Right? Email attachments. When you are sending a documents, when you are sending a PDF files, they are used what? Blob. Tell me one more usage of the blob. When you want to encrypt the data, when you want to upload the images, we take it as what? Blob. Body of any file will be in the form of blob. body of any document, body of any file, body of any image, body of any audio file will be in the form of blob. So here, when somebody is uploading, the data is coming in the form of what? The point is, program, there is no change in the program. Whatever the program you have done, everything is same, except one line. Everything that you have done everything is same except one line. The same program I copy pasted, but only one line is changing. What is the line? The line is string XML equal to, then how do you convert? Blob dot. If I give, okay, what is the blob? What is the name of the file? Body dot to strings. Body dot to string. Whatever the blob is there, the body blob is converted into string. We are converting the body of the blob into string. We are passing only one line of extra code. The XML file what you uploaded is in the form of blob. Convert the blob into string and use it. Did you make any change on the remaining program? No. The blob file is converted into string. So let me execute this program again. Giving input file, body, action equal to convert. So I am giving some input text area. Then we have value equal to result. This is what we have done. I have a preview of this. We are uploading some file. So first create a XML file. Same old file what I have given. Yes. So we have created this file. Go back, choose the file, the XML file what I have given, I uploaded the file, click on convert. Right, boss? So whatever the file we uploaded is parsed. We are parsing the data. We are parsing the data of the XML. So everything is running behind what? Node. Root element, get child elements. You want to add child elements. Root element, add child elements. Am I clear with this? Right? People have followed this. So what are the two formats we are using? JSON and XML. What is the purpose of these two? This is a format in which we are exchanging the data. If two systems want to communicate across the network, then they are going to use the format of XML or JSON. If two systems want to communicate or transfer the exchange the data, if two systems or two applications want to exchange the data will be exchanged in the form of JSON or XML. My request will go in the form of JSON. Your response will come in the form of JSON. Request will go in the form of JSON. Response will come in the form of JSON. If you are using a SOAP API, request will go in the form of XML. Response will come in the form of XML. Okay, let me show some of the examples. For understanding, I'll show some of the examples. I'm using some third-party system. Now, if somebody is making a request, the response will come. I'm making a request to third party. How the response is coming? Success equal to true. These are terms, codes. $1 equal to right now 0.87 euros. We have given the format here. So the response is coming in which format here? JSON. The response is coming in the form of JSON. If you give, like I want to say $1 equal to how many? Right now, the price of dollar, so it has given cost, price is 64 rupees. $1 equal to 64 rupees. The request is coming in the form of JSON. To generate this dynamic format, what I have used? JSON generator. To use this dynamic format, what did I use? JSON generator. I have used JSON generator. Fine. Let me go to one more. If I am going with the workbench, how the response is coming, look at this. Load bracket. The response is coming in the what format? Response is coming in the JSON. Response is coming. Standard action, custom action. So whenever you are making a request and response, the response is the response. But when you look at JSON, the response is coming like a JSON. Action, label, name. So when two systems want to communicate or exchange the data, the response will come in the form of JSON or XML. But today, common user format is JSON. Common user format is JSON. As all the REST API services will be using JSON or XML. Whereas the SOAP API service will be using only XML. SOAP will use only XML. REST will use JSON and XML. But today, most of the services are REST API services. That's the reason we use more of JSON than XML. More of